Yes.
So who would be the number one victims of that third figure from Netherlands? Like, would that be babies?
No, well, it could be some babies, but they're actually under the Groningen Protocol, so that's a different sort of number again. But no, these are people who are unconscious, and they're not dying immediately. And so usually these are people who are actually near to death. So it's somebody who can't make a decision for themselves anymore.
The family has no say. It's completely up to the doctor.
Well, I'm not telling you that, but the fact is the family might be begging the doctor to do it. Right? The family might be saying, we thought so-and-so was going to be dead last Saturday. Now it's Wednesday. We got a party on Sunday. No, come on. This is dragging on. It's true, though. A lot of these times, it's actually, a lot of it's based on timing. So if you want to know when a lot of these deaths will happen, just before Christmas. And if you think that usually it's the 3 days before the funeral, December 20th is probably a good day. You know? They're not dying. They're not asking for it because they can't. So we're saying, well, they couldn't ask for it. Deaths without consent. They're outside of the euthanasia numbers. They are euthanized, but not consent, so they're not in the numbers. But they are done.
Yes. So I think it's a really compelling argument about just determining the circumstances once we say it's okay to kill someone. But I'm interested in picking your brain a little bit on what I often see as a sort of foot in the door case for saying it's okay to kill someone in this instance. Yeah. Like I saw Mark pick up on W5 or some CTV show a few years back, and he was making a compelling argument against euthanasia and assisted suicide, but a family came back with a heart-wrenching story, like you had mentioned in your instance.
Then they'd say to Mark, well, Mark, you don't have to choose this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the choice, but also, there's a particular issue of someone who was suffering from cancer and going through a lot of pain, and was really at the end of their life, right? How can...
I think there's more compelling arguments than that. 'Cause the fact is that if you've got cancer and you're suffering pain, the first question should be is why are you suffering from such pain? We have the ability to properly care for your pain, and even in those very remote circumstances when you are suffering and we're having a hard time caring for your pain, we don't have to kill you. And you'd say, well, isn't sedation the same thing? Well, no, actually, I didn't kill you. I didn't give the doctor the right to lethally inject you. So it is different. Nonetheless, there are more compelling cases, and that's the case like Sue Rodriguez. Sue Rodriguez had ALS. ALS is a terrible disease, no question about it. It's very terrible. Her body is wasting away, her muscles, etc. The whole system is wasting away. Yet mentally, she is perfectly fine. And there is a type of suffering that is very distinct there that none of us would want to experience. So we understand this completely. And so we look at the cases around Jocelyn Downey, this great ethicist here in Canada, and what she's saying that she has developed the Rodriguez 2 case. So Sue Rodriguez in 1993 went to the Supreme Court of Canada asking for her right for assisted suicide, and she was told no by the Supreme Court by a 5-4 vote, which is very close. And Jocelyn Downey says, well, today, with the people who sit on our current Supreme Court, she figures that if she had another case, she could win today. So she talks about the Rodriguez 2 case. I think there's a very compelling argument there because, of course, most people would never want to be in that circumstance. But, bad cases, the worst cases make the worst laws. Because as much as my heart goes out to a Sue Rodriguez, and I am a human being, I can understand that suffering. I met with Stephen Fletcher. Now, he's a quadriplegic. He talked about the amount of pain he went through after his accident where his neck got broken. And as much as I have never experienced that pain, it affects me deeply, him describing that to me. I am a human person. I can understand pain. I may not be able to understand what they're going through because I've never done that. I can understand pain. Nonetheless, should we be legalizing the intentional killing of people because of this? No, we have to provide the best care for them. If we can legalize the intentional killing for that reason, and what other reasons? These are just, they use the hardest cases because it's so hard to say no to that, and I agree, it is hard to say no to it, but let's look at how it affects all of society. So I'll mention this because I met with Stephen Fletcher. He's a quadriplegic, right? He cannot move any of his body below his neck, cannot move whatsoever. Yet he is in our federal cabinet. He is a very influential politician. He's actually a very amazing, amazing person. I've full respect for this man. And after talking to him, I have more respect than I could have ever imagined I have for this man. Nonetheless, my point to him was, he brought Sue Rodriguez to me. And I says, yes, but in 1993, if Sue Rodriguez had won her case, where would you be today, Stephen? I didn't have to tell him. He said, you're right, I wouldn't be here today, I'd be dead. Sue Rodriguez would not have gotten the Supreme Court to say that she could die. It would have been that we could all die by assisted suicide under whatever circumstances. And Stephen Fletcher would not be in our parliament today. We would not have a fully quadriplegic member of parliament sitting in our parliament today if that had happened. Because in his time where he was going through great suffering, and he did suffer, he would have chosen death. He wouldn't be with us. So I think this is a great situation we have, that we have this person we can look up to. And it's terrible what he's gone through, and we have to acknowledge it. He's gone through such terrible suffering. This is the person you should be looking up to. People with disabilities can say, here's somebody who's gone through hell and back and is accomplishing incredible things. Maybe I can do the same. Even you can say that, you know, whatever you go through in life is not going to compare with what Stephen Fletcher's gone through. It's just not going to compare. So the fact is we can all look up to him. But if you legalize this, will they exist? Well, the odd one might, but there'll be very few of them left. And you guys should know this because you're not at university and you've written exams. Life is not just a bowl of cherries, you know. And we like to think of life without suffering, right? And I'm not going to say, though, well, you know, we have to accept suffering and all that. No. But we have to understand it is a natural part of our life. And we have to care for people. I think there's a serious problem in our society also today. There's more loneliness and depression, more abandonment than ever before. We have more resources, more people, more ability to care for people than ever before. And yet what do we have in society? More loneliness and more abandonment and more than ever before. And more depression than ever before. Why? Because we don't care. We don't care. And that lack of care is going to respond to a lot of people dying. Are we done?
Any last questions?
He's got to turn off the mic before we talk about the pub.
Too late. Why do you have to turn it off? Excellent. Thank you very much. That's why I did that.